Hello everyone, my research title is Learning Strategies for Academic Vocabulary for Intermediate Level Learners. So there are three research questions. The first one is what are the difficulties for learners to learn academic vocabulary? Second one is which are the most common and effective learning strategies to help learners learn on their own and explain why. The third one is what are the reflections of learners about learning academic vocabulary as mentioned 6 common strategies. The purpose of the research is to find out 6 commonly used and effective learning strategies to help students learn academic vocabulary more easily, to help the learners find self-confidence in learning academic vocabulary and improve their learning ability. Students with high English proficiency have an advantage. It is rich academic vocabulary. Vocabulary is a key content of foreign language learning, and its level directly determines the whole foreign language levels. However, only after learners have mastered enough academic vocabulary and effective learning strategies can they further study this foreign language. Nation elaborated on various strategies of vocabulary learning and made a summary. He said, in face of different learning tasks, the higher the language level, the more likely the learners will choose to use different academic vocabulary strategies. And Oxford proposed a more comprehensive strategies classification system, which includes the 6 categories like cognitive strategies, compensation strategies, memorize strategies, emotion and social strategies, and metacognitive strategies. All of the 20 strategies which I'm using are taken from there. About the method of this research through questionnaires and vocabulary testing exercise, this paper investigates 45 people by means of quantitative analysis. A mixed approach is used to analyze effectiveness of vocabulary strategies through structured interview. We can determine what strategies students use to learn academic vocabulary and choose multiple intelligence tests and texts for students. The participants of this study are 45 second and third year students from Süleyman Demirel University to foreign language and engineering department. There are 18 boys and 32 girls. 5 students' native language is Russian language, and 35 students' native language is Kazakh language. And also there have 7 students often speak in Chinese. The study focuses on students' self-learning ability, so teachers are not invited to participate in this study. There are 2 instructors. One is questionnaire survey of English academic vocabulary structure, and another one is exercise of academic vocabulary test. The survey was conducted from 8th of March to 10th of April. Investigation procedure is divided into 3 stages. The first stage is questionnaire survey. Students are asked to answer the questions like, is academic vocabulary difficult for learners to learn, and what makes you feel learning academic vocabulary is difficult? And then students are asked to choose appropriate answer according to their own experience life. The result of this investigation is 94% of students think academic vocabulary is difficult, and 40% of them think they couldn't find the strategies which suitable for them to learn academic vocabulary, and 27% of students think they are lack of environment for learning academic vocabulary. The second stage is questionnaire survey on vocabulary strategies. The purpose of this survey was to select the most common and effective 6 learning strategies for academic vocabulary from 20 learning strategies according to the response of participants. According to the students' selections, there are 6 most common strategies for academic vocabulary is through various language practice, pick books of interest to read loudly, read again and again, and making reciting vocabulary lists. The third stage is academic vocabulary test. The purpose of this test is examine students' mastery of academic vocabulary in professional English and to analyze whether the 6 academic vocabulary learning strategies is the most effective. This task asks students to recite following 20 academic words in a week according to instructional learning strategies. After they finish their works, they should ask the following questions. For example, do you think this strategies is helpful for you to learn academic vocabulary? And if not, explain why. During the interviews and the investigation, I encountered some difficulties, for example, limitation. The first one is because of the time limit, at least survey couldn't be complete, or the data was not correct. The second is it is difficult to interview some of the second course students because of the different course time, the different timetable. And then the last one is one of the 6 most common strategies for learning academic vocabulary selected is not suitable for the last test. So the data was not correct at last. Yes. For the conclusion, this survey is mixed design survey. In general, the design of the questionnaire, simple selections, and the result statistic are more required. The final result shows that the learning academic vocabulary is difficult for most of the students. The main reason was they couldn't find the good or suitable strategies for themselves, and the lack of the environment to learn academic vocabulary, or there is a misunderstanding for the academic vocabulary. The most 6 common strategies is participants in the survey analyzed a metacognitive strategy, 2 memory practice strategy, 2 recording strategy, and 1 social emotional strategy. At the same time, the survey also provides the following elements for our vocabulary learning. The first one is it's necessary for students to learn how to translate known strategies into applicable strategies through exercise so as to narrow the gap between ideal and present vocabulary learning perspective. So second one is students should search for a variety of vocabulary learning materials in the process of self-study. Students generally believe that learning academic vocabulary is the most important part of language learning. But learning academic vocabulary is very difficult, so we should learn academic vocabulary critically by using different effective learning strategies.